In the first couple years of World War II, a lot of Americans firmly believe that their nation should stay out of that conflict. The most prominent organization representing them is the committee called America First. Welcome to a World War II in real-time special episode. I'm Indy Neidell. If you saw the special we did on Lend-Lease, you'll perhaps remember that a 1939 Gallup poll showed that while 58% of American voters supported the sale of war material to Britain, only 16% actually wanted America to directly intervene in the conflict. The desire for neutrality is for a variety of reasons. Many conservatives fear that it will lead to an enduring wartime socialism that would destroy American enterprise, while many liberals fear the end of the New Deal. For a lot of people, the desire not to intervene simply comes down to exasperation with Europe and how it always seems to be stuck in one conflict after the other. After all, Americans got involved in the last European war, and what have they got from that? Unpaid war debts, and now a new war 20 years later. Some Americans feel so strongly about maintaining neutrality that they form anti-interventionist groups, the most prominent among them being the America First Committee, the AFC. It's formed in September 1940 at Yale University by a group of students led by R. Douglas Stewart, Jr., a future diplomat and businessman. Other early members include future President Gerald Ford and future Peace Corps Director Sergeant Shriver. It is to be a non-political organization, and its core belief is that Britain and Germany are too evenly matched, and only America could tip the balance, but this would drag the states into a long and bloody war in which American democracy would be the first casualty. While a German victory over Britain might be undesirable, it's still preferable to the cost of intervention. With this in mind, the AFC stance is initially even against all military aid. In December 1940, they do grudgingly accept the cash and carry policy, which allows America to sell military goods to belligerent countries, but it absolutely refuses to support Lend-Lease in 1941. Lend-Lease enables Allied countries to loan or lease American military equipment. The form of payment can come in any form American President Franklin Roosevelt decides. To the America First Committee, this new act is nothing short of a declaration of war on the Axis powers. Now, as I said, a lot of Americans are initially against America joining the war, so the AFC does manage to build itself a pretty large support base. Their professed apolitical outlook means that people from across the spectrum join the organization. At its peak, it boasts around 800,000 dues-paying members, primarily from the Midwest, but with decent showings also from the East and West coasts. It also has some pretty powerful individuals backing it. Both Democrats and Republicans argue the committee's case in Congress, prominent industrialists fund the cause, and Hollywood celebrities like Lillian Gish are speakers at rallies. But the AFC begins to get more and more notoriety. They are soon charged with being Nazi sympathizers, and this is not helped by their most recognizable and famous spokesperson, Charles Lindbergh. Lindbergh is a huge national hero, and although he does not join the committee until April 1941, he has been an advocate for isolationism since the war began. But his motivations for this go beyond those of many other isolationists, for he holds some racist and anti-Semitic views, as well as some serious fascist sympathies. In an article in Reader's Digest in November 1939, he writes, "We, the heirs of European culture, are on the verge of a disastrous war, a war within our own family of nations, a war which will reduce the strength and destroy the treasures of the white race, a war which may even lead to the end of our civilization. And while we stand poised for battle, Oriental guns are turning westward. Asia presses towards us on the Russian border. All foreign races stir restlessly. It is time to turn from our quarrels and to build our white ramparts again." He creates a fair bit of negative PR for the AFC when he joins their cause. But Lucky Lindy draws the crowds and attracts new members to the cause. His views, however, soon make the AFC brand a bit too toxic. In September 1941, he gives a controversial speech at an AFC rally in Des Moines, Iowa. The three most important groups who have been pressing this country towards the war are the British, the Jewish, and the Roosevelt administration. No person with a sense of dignity of mankind can condone the persecution of the Jewish race in Germany, but no person of honesty and vision can look on their pro-war policy here today without seeing the dangers involved in such a policy both for us and for them. Instead of agitating for war, the Jewish groups in this country should be opposing it in every possible way, for they will be among the first to feel its consequences. Tolerance is a virtue that depends on peace and strength. History shows that it cannot survive war and devastations. A few far-sighted Jewish people realize this and stand opposed to intervention, but the majority still do not. Their greatest danger to this country lies in their large ownership and influence in our motion pictures, our press, our radio, and our government. His statements are controversial, to say the least. Newspapers and politicians across the country lead the condemnation, and the White House press secretary points out that Lindbergh's speech sounds awfully similar to the Nazi rhetoric pouring out of Berlin. Lindbergh falls from grace. Libraries remove his books, streets named after him are even renamed, and his hometown in Minnesota removes his name from the local water tower. This also significantly contributes to the end of the AFC. They release a statement in the wake of the controversy, stating that Lindbergh is not anti-Semitic, and it is actually the interventionists who are bringing race into the debate. But this falls on deaf ears. For many, Lindbergh's speech confirms long-held suspicions about the AFC and its strikingly similar foreign policy views to openly pro-Nazi groups such as the German-American Bund. And the tide of American opinion has more or less shifted towards interventionism anyway. By the autumn of 1941, most voters strongly support aggressive naval action to protect convoys in the Atlantic, especially after the USS Kearney is damaged and USS Reuben James sunk by U-boats in October 1941, resulting in the deaths of over 100 Americans. In mid-November, another Gallup poll indicates that 72% of voters believe the single biggest job of the country right now is to defeat the Nazi government. The AFC has clearly lost their fight. And it becomes pretty much irrelevant after December 7th. In the wake of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, the AFC will encourage all Americans to support the new war effort and will promptly dissolve itself. In their press release announcing the dissolution, the AFC will state, "Our principles were right. Had they been followed, war could have been avoided. No good purpose can now be served by considering what might have been had our objectives been attained. We are at war. Today, though, there may be many important subsidiary considerations. The primary objective is not difficult to state. It can be completely defined in one word: victory." If you'd like to see more about what was going on at home in some of the other warring nations of World War II, you can click right here for our sub-series on the home front. And if you'd like to see more fantastic specials like this and more great content in general, please join the Time Ghost Army at timeghost.tv or patreon.com. See you next time.